Hello friends, welcome to Mock Test channel. Today in this video, I am going to start a new series, that is NISM Series 15 Research Analyst Certification Examination. As you guys know, in Mock Test channel, we already have launched NISM 5A, that is Mutual Fund Certification Exam, NISM 6, that is Depository Exam, and NISM 8, that is Equity Derivative Exam. So today's agenda is to start a new series because I have been getting requests from you guys to launch this series NISM 15 Research Analyst Certification Examination so that you guys can clear that as well with good marks in the first attempt. So let's get started. Who is a research analyst and what are the qualities that make a research analyst a good research analyst? So that involves understanding the primary role of a research analyst. Let's imagine you decided to buy a new phone. What would be your selection process? First, you will decide what's your budget, right? You will decide what is the price range you will be comfortable with. Second thing will be you will have a set of brands in your mind, whether it be Samsung, Apple, Realme, or any sort of brands that you find yourself comfortable in. Then you have some technical specifications in mind. Like say you want some 12 megapixel or 54 megapixel, or you would have something in mind regarding the battery life, that how much long this battery should survive. And based on all these factors taken into account, you will make a decision on which phone to go for. Same is the role of a research analyst, guys. What a research analyst does is he helps the clients in making investment decision, and that involves just two steps. One is research and another is analysis. Research basically means collecting data from various sources. Just like when you are buying a new phone, what you would do, you would go to all the websites, check the technical specifications of the phone that you have shortlisted, and you will find more about it. And after you have gathered all the information, next step is analysis, that is processing all those data in order to come to a decision. And that is what exactly a research analyst does. Only difference is that he does it for the financial things, whether it be some investments that he is doing for a bank or for any other client. He will collect all the information. He will collect information whether it be a macroeconomic or microeconomic factors. What is the difference between macro and microeconomic factors? Macroeconomic factors are the factors that has an influence in national or global level. For example, coronavirus was a macroeconomic factor because it influenced the entire economy of a country or as well the world as well. Whereas when you talk about microeconomic factors, that can be some factors. Let's say there's a strike in a factory where the union is saying that we are not going to work anymore. So these are microeconomic factors. So when a research analyst is working, he's collecting both the information, macroeconomic as well as microeconomic, industry specific, company specific information as well. Where does he get all these information? One way is that he can approach the company directors directly, or else he can get this information from various government statistics, RBI, International Monetary Fund. And getting all this information is also very important, because based on all the data collected, the quality of the data actually matters a lot when it comes to research analysis. Because only if the quality of the data is good, only then he can carry out a good analysis based on the data and come to a conclusion. He can also have surveys, he can go to the company and visit the plants, and based on all the information that he has collected, he will process this information and come to a very conclusive decision. These decisions can be based on two factors. One can be quantitative, second is qualitative. What are quantitative factors? Quantitative factors are like revenue of that company. How much profit is this company making? What are the risks that are involved? These are all quantitative factors. Whereas qualitative factors can be like how much is the performance, how is the efficiency of operation, how good are the managers in that company, how competitive is it, the company in that complete segment, what are the business plans that this company has for future. So all these data, when accumulated, whether it be quantitative or qualitative factor, research analysts would spend a lot of time analyzing these data and come to a conclusion whether to buy this share, hold this share, or sell this share. Friends, not all research analysts are doing the same kind of work. There are mainly three types of research analysts. One is sell-side analyst, another is buy side analyst, and third is independent analyst. Sell side analysts usually work for investment banking, broking, or advisory services firm. For example, angel broking. If this sell side analyst is working for angel broking, what he will do? He will carry out research and he will publish these research reports in angel broking website or maybe in angel broking mobile app, so that all the people who are using these advisory services will get all the recommendations which stock to buy, hold, or sell. So that's a kind of activity that the sell side research analyst does. Now let's go to buy side analyst. What a buy side analyst does is that he works for mutual fund company, hedge fund company, or a pension fund. So what this person does is he will also carry out all these research, but whatever research he is carrying out, the end report will not be given out to public but would be given to the fund manager or the top managers in that mutual fund company. Let's say for example it's a Axis mutual fund company, so the top managers who are sitting there, who are fund managers, will decide based on these research reports which shares to hold, which ones to sell, which one to buy. Then there's a third type of research analysts whom we refer as independent research analysts. These kind of research analysts neither work for any investment firm nor do they work for any advisory services. All they do is they carry out independent research and they publish these reports on a subscription basis. There are many people who might be interested in these reports. It can be investors, it can be fund managers from other company, it can be investment bankers, and they also can provide you customized research reports based on specific requests from these clients. So an independent analyst is somebody who is also making report, but only difference is that this person is neither a part of any mutual fund company nor is a part of any advisory services. Apart from these three main categories, there are entities like newspapers, media, and consolidators who provide research reports to us. In nutshell, what you can say is a research analyst is a selector. He decides based on the company's past performance and what he is expecting that company to do in future. He can help you make better investment decisions. Friends, with this we have completely covered what is the role of a research analyst. If you have understood the concepts clearly, please hit on that like button, drop in a comment with just 2 letters okay or thanks, so that YouTube algorithm understands that this content is useful and it can show this content to other aspirants who are preparing for this exam. Hopefully you will do it. Let's carry on with our topic. Now we are going to discuss what are the responsibilities of a research analyst. Friends, by now you already know that the primary responsibility of a research analyst is to understand and evaluate how much a company or an industry can grow. So that involves understanding the economy, understanding the industry, and understanding the companies in specific. So let's dive deep into how this type of analysis is carried out. The first important thing is understanding economy. There are many macroeconomic factors that can affect an economy in general, like the national income of the company, the inflation, the interest rate, and the unemployment rate. There are many policies that comes once in a while, like fiscal and monetary policies, which can have a direct impact on the economy. There can be flows from the foreign direct investments and portfolio investment, which can have a positive impact for our economy. There can be certain saving and investment patterns that a government in a global level is carrying out that can be either quite good or can have a negative impact. Other than that, there are global factors which impact our GDP growth. There are import and export transactions that can also influence the economy. All these kind of economic analysis we are going to cover in chapter 5 in detail. So even if you find some terms which you are not completely aware of, don't worry. Even if you don't have any background in stocks, I am going to make sure that you understand all the concepts clearly and you pass this exam in first attempt. That's the promise that I make to you. So Don't worry about it even if you don't understand certain terms. Next step involves understanding industry, because different industries have different challenges. You knew that when coronavirus was coming, the medicine industry would see a boom, but there are other companies who are facing the worst time ever, like hotel industries or hospitality industries or tourism industry for that matter. So it's only when you understand an industry in depth, only then you can understand what all factors can be seen as positive and what all factors can have a negative impact in the industry. So as a research analyst, one has to understand the industry in depth, understand the business model, understand the competitions, factors, sensitivity to the price, and also consumer behavior in general. Don't worry about it, we are going to cover all of it in depth in chapter 6. And next step is understanding a company. As you guys know, in cricket, both Dravid and Sehwag are excellent cricketers. But can you give me with certainty which player is going to perform better in a particular day? The answer is no, because it depends on various factors: who is bowling, what is the field arrangement, what is the pitch condition on that particular day and time, and based on all these factors, only then we can maybe come to an analysis and say, okay, maybe Sehwag is going to perform better that day. But in actual or in reality, it can still happen that Dravid performs better on that day. That's how research analyst is, because all the analysis that you do is based on many factors, and even after carrying out proper research analysis, it can happen that your investment decisions can fail miserably. So what a research analyst does is, when he understanding a company, he carries out two types of research. One is qualitative, another is quantitative research. Qualitative research is basically understanding how a business stands in comparison to his competition or peers, to understand what are the strengths and weakness of a business model, who are the people in the management and how capable are they. So this kind of research is called as qualitative research. Next type of research is called as quantitative research, which is completely mathematical. You will have to go into the balance sheet, you will have to understand the profit and loss statements for the last few years, their cash flows, their assets and liabilities, and only then you can come to a conclusion which company you should buy shares of. So we are going to go in depth of both kind of analysis, that is qualitative and quantitative, in chapters 7 and 8. Friends, let's move on to the next section of this chapter, that is basic principles of interaction with companies or clients. As you guys know, with internet, there's a lot of information about any company if you wish to gather, but that doesn't replace a personal communication with the top manager of the company. So it's very important for a research analyst to know how to approach in such interactions, because it can happen that the management might try to mislead an analyst by exaggerating all good points, saying that the company is doing super good. But writing these good positive stories can influence the market in a positive way, and that might be the intention of the management. Also, sometimes it can happen that the company is doing pretty good, but the management is speaking negative about the company so that the public doesn't buy the stocks, they themselves can buy the stock. So as a research analyst should have a complete clarity, should verify all the claims of management before he publishes the report or before he recommends a stock to the public. So communication with management requires an analyst to be having a clear thought, should have a very good listening ability to understand all the things that the management is speaking, and also prior to meeting, carry out a pre-meeting research, understand what all questions that you are going to ask this client, understand about the product that this company is selling, the industry, the competitors, and also read about the annual reports of this company, find out how much of the goals that they have promised before they are able to achieve. and you need to have independence and neutrality of you. At times it can happen as a research analyst, since you are interacting to a particular manager, it might happen that you are slightly inclined towards him, and you might just go on with this personal inclination and just recommend the stocks because he's a good friend of you. That shouldn't happen. As a research analyst, you should be independent and neutral in your view, and you should also make sure that the management doesn't reveal out any information to you which is not available in the public domain. Every analyst who is carrying out a research should have a good network, because at times you might think that approaching the top managers is the best solution, but it might not be true. There might be some key persons within the company who might be well aware about the daily operation of the company, and they can give you a better insight than the top manager. There can be competitors in the market, there can be customers in the market who can give you a better insight about how the company is doing. So keep your network good and understand the perspective of all these people in the network before you recommend the particular stock. As a research analyst, it's important to have clarity in questions. Sometimes it can happen that you have to approach a client and there's a very short duration that the client has allowed you. So you have to have a questionnaire ready before even approaching the top manager of that company, so that when you go there, you have the question set ready. All you are seeking is specific answers to these questions, and that's about it. Friends, once the research is complete, the next step is analysis and creating a report. And when a research analyst is making a report, there are certain guidelines that he should definitely follow. The first thing is to be hyper realistic when it comes to suggesting a company. The suggestion should be based on facts and figure. It should not be because that particular research analyst is very optimistic or pessimistic or biased about that company. It should only be completely dependent on the facts and figures that you have gathered during the research. Whenever you are communicating a research report in written format, it's important that the report is simple, clear, and concise. Only then the person who is reading it can understand. Next, sometimes it can happen that the research analyst already is holding stocks of a particular company, and that's why he is recommending those stocks to be bought by the public. That shouldn't happen. And if such a thing is happening when you are maybe making a report of a particular stock and you already have considerable amount of shares of that particular stock, you should make a disclosure right in the beginning of that report. And then you should not make any report based on assumptions. It should be purely based on facts, and you should avoid using any abbreviations or jargons, because if you are using so many technical terms, the reader will not understand your report completely. Friends, let me tell you, as a research analyst, you are in a position of responsibility. You are expected to be utmost honest and truthful when carrying out this research, because your research is actually going to have an impact on the investment decisions that many of your clients are making. So it's important to be unbiased and to follow all the rules and regulations that the SEBI has specified. And for making your life easier, you can use technology like recording devices when you are carrying out these interviews, but it's important that you take consent of the person before you start the recording. Friends, now we come to the most important question of this video, that is, what are the qualities that make a good research analyst? That all starts with numbers. Yes friend, a research analyst should be good with numbers. He should have both quantitative and qualitative skills. He should be very comfortable in dealing with numbers. He should be able to read and understand financial statements. He should have a good clarity in financial concept. He should be able to ask very important and specific questions. He should have good attention to the details when a client is answering. He should have good communication skills, whether it be written or verbal. So all of this is something that I plan to educate you on, so that you become a very good research analyst. So friends, if you are with me, please hit on that like button. please drop in a comment saying okay or thanks, and please do subscribe to this channel so that whenever I'm launching the next video, that becomes available to you. There are very important links that I have given in the comment section, from which you will be able to access rest of the chapters as well as mock tests for this exam, but not now because it's still under process. I have only released chapter 1 as of now, but very soon we'll be also releasing the mock tests and rest of the chapters. All of it will be available in the comment section, so please have a look on to that as well as when you are watching this video.